Hi, I'm Hannah. At last weekend's family reunion, my 8-year-old daughter, Lily, became the subject of whispers. I didn't understand why until I overheard my mother-in-law, Eleanor, presenting proof of my supposed infidelity. But let me take you back to where it all began. I met David 10 years ago at a coffee shop near the hospital where I worked as a pediatric nurse. He spilled his latte on my scrubs, and instead of yelling, I laughed at the sight of him frantically apologizing. Later, he told me that my ability to find humor in chaos was what made him fall for me. Eleanor, his mother, seemed perfect at first. Such a lovely girl, she'd say, giving my hand an approving pat during family dinners. But her eyes told a different story, one of quiet calculation. When David proposed 6 months later, her mask slipped. "Are you sure, darling?" she asked him. "There are plenty of girls from good families who'd be better suited." David didn't waver, and we had a beautiful spring wedding. I thought our reservations were behind us. Everything changed when I got pregnant with Lily. That was when Eleanor's true nature emerged. One night, I overheard her telling David, "She trapped you. A baby so soon? How convenient." David defended me, and for a moment, I thought we'd weathered the storm. But Eleanor was relentless. When Lily was born with David's bright blue eyes and my dark curls, she latched onto the smallest details. "She doesn't really look like you, does she?" she'd say, tilting her head in mock innocence. Subtle jabs turned into pointed comments over the years. "Isn't it interesting how strong family genes are?" she'd muse, showing Lily photos of blonde, blue-eyed relatives. Last weekend's reunion at Eleanor's sprawling Victorian house was supposed to be uneventful. David had a last-minute business trip, but he urged me to go for Lily's sake. "She loves playing with her cousins," he said. I should have known better. The whispers started at lunch. Aunt Sarah wouldn't meet my eyes. Uncle Jim suddenly had pressing emails on his phone whenever I approached. Snippets of conversation drifted past me. Eleanor found proof. Poor David. That doctor she worked with. My stomach churned when I spotted Eleanor in the study, surrounded by David's cousins. She was holding a stack of papers, her voice dripping with Fox concern. "Hannah worked with this Dr. Richards," she said, tapping the papers. "A very handsome man. And look at these dates, 9 months before Lily was born." I froze in the doorway. Dr. Richards, my colleague, my gay colleague, who'd helped deliver Lily because David and I trusted him implicitly. "Mom?" Lily's trembling voice broke the spell. She'd heard everything. I turned to my daughter, her confused eyes tearing into my heart, and something in me snapped. The fear I carried for years vanished. I strode into the room, my voice cutting through the silence. "Eleanor, care to explain why you're spreading lies about my daughter's paternity?" She spun around, her expression triumphant. "Lies? I have proof," she said, holding up the papers. "The dates, the doctor, your position at the hospital. It's all very suspicious. I'm just protecting my son." Protecting him. I pulled out my phone and opened a photo of Dr. Richards and his husband, taken at our last Christmas party. "This is the man you're accusing me of having an affair with. He's been married to his husband for over a decade. And those suspicious dates? Those are my prenatal appointments. Dr. Richards only delivered Lily because my OB was called away for an emergency." Eleanor's face flushed crimson, but she wasn't done. "It doesn't explain why Lily looks nothing like our family." "Enough." David's voice rang out, sharp and authoritative. I turned to see him standing in the doorway, holding a teary-eyed Lily. He wasn't supposed to be back until tomorrow. But here he was, his eyes blazing with fury. "David," Eleanor began, her voice syrupy sweet. "I was just trying to destroy my family." He cut her off. "Lily called me crying, saying Grandma was saying horrible things about her mom. So I came home. I was looking out for you." "Looking out for me? By tearing apart the woman I love and traumatizing my child?" "I've had enough, Mother." The room was silent, except for the sound of Lily sniffling softly in my arms. David's voice softened, but it was no less firm. "We're leaving. Don't expect to see us again until you've proven you've changed. Truly changed." As we walked out, the whispers started again. But this time, they weren't about me. Eleanor stood frozen, her so-called proof scattered on the floor, her perfect image crumbling before her eyes. But this wasn't the end. I knew Eleanor too well. She wasn't going to let us go without a fight, and what she did next would change everything forever. That week after the reunion felt like the calm before a storm, too quiet, too still. Eleanor's silence wasn't relief, it was a warning. Mommy, why isn't Katie talking to me anymore? Lily's voice was small, her eyes brimming with tears as she clutched her phone. Katie, her cousin and best friend, had been inseparable from her since they were toddlers. Let me see, I said gently, taking her phone. Wi-Fi made my stomach drop. Every family member, even her cousins, had blocked Lily on social media. Among the hurtful messages, one from Katie's mom stood out. Your mother is spreading lies about my family. We can't associate with you anymore. David saw the screen and his expression darkened. She's targeting Lily now. That's a new low. He grabbed his phone and called his sister Marie, the only family member who had stood by us during the reunion. Her words chilled me. Mom's telling everyone Hannah was investigated at the hospital for inappropriate relationships with her coworkers, Marie said. She's got official-looking documents. I think they're forged, but people are buying it. She's even hired a PI to dig up dirt on you. David slammed his fist against the table. That's it. I'm going over there. Wait, I interrupted. Remember what Dr. Phillips said? Document everything. If we confront her now, she'll just twist it. We need to be smart. So we got to work. I called Dr. Richards, explaining Eleanor's accusations. This is outrageous, he said, immediately offering to have hospital legal issue a formal statement about my impeccable record. Then we contacted our lawyer, Sarah Chen, who advised, save every message, email, or call. Build your case. The next day, Eleanor escalated. Child Protective Services showed up at our door. We received an anonymous report, the social worker said hesitantly. She explained they had to investigate claims of neglect, but something about her tone suggested she didn't believe them. I invited her in, calmly showing her Lily's spotless room, her medical records, her honor roll certificates. This is part of a pattern of harassment, I explained, handing her the growing stack of documentation we collected. The social worker frowned. This isn't the first time I've seen false reports used to weaponize the system. I'll flag this as malicious reporting. But Eleanor wasn't finished. That Sunday at church, she orchestrated her most dramatic act yet. I just don't know what to do, she sobbed in front of the congregation. My son's being deceived. My granddaughter isn't who we thought she was. And then, with a flourish, she produced a DNA test, proving Lily wasn't David's child. When Marie showed us the recording, I couldn't help but laugh. The report was an amateurish forgery, complete with misspelled medical terms. But the damage was done. Parents at Lily's school started whispering. Invitations dried up. Even playdates were canceled. I can't let this keep hurting Lily, I said one night, watching my daughter quietly pick at her dinner. Maybe we should move, start over somewhere new. David took my hand. No, we're not running. She doesn't get to chase us away from the life we built. The next day, I decided to fight back. I spent hours visiting family members who had cut us off, bringing hospital records, photos, and a legitimate DNA test we'd done when Lily needed surgery. I don't know why we believed her, Aunt Sarah admitted, looking ashamed. One by one, family members began apologizing. Katie's mom unblocked Lily, allowing the cousins to reconnect. The tide was turning. But Eleanor wasn't done yet. She gathered everyone at her house for a family meeting, excluding us, of course. Marie attended and recorded everything. I've made a terrible mistake, Eleanor sobbed. I was wrong about Hannah and Lily. I haven't been well. The doctors say it's early dementia. I'm so confused. Marie sent us the recording and my stomach churned. Eleanor was playing the sympathy card, using fake dementia to dodge accountability. Worse, it was working. Family members started calling, urging us to forgive her. She's lying, David said. She's never seen a doctor for this. It's just another manipulation. I thought for a moment, then an idea struck me. Call everyone, I said. Tell them how heartbroken we are about her diagnosis and that we insist on helping manage her care. As a nurse, I'll oversee everything. David's eyes lit up. Checkmate. Within days, Eleanor was flooded with calls from family, all offering to drive her to appointments and asking for her doctor's name. Miraculously, her dementia cleared up overnight. But by then, the damage was done. Her lies were exposed, her credibility shattered. No one believed her anymore. She's lost her power, Marie said. No one trusts her now. For the first time, we felt like we could finally breathe. But just when we thought it was over, Eleanor made one last desperate move. One that would leave Lily in the hospital and force me to make the hardest decision of my life. I'll never forget that Tuesday afternoon. My shift at the hospital was in full swing when the call came in. Lily had been rushed to the emergency room. Grandma said these were Mom's special cookies, Lily had told the school nurse just before losing consciousness. My heart pounded as I pieced it together. Eleanor had visited Lily during lunch, bringing cookies laced with my sleep medication, the same medication she must have stolen during her last visit to our home. By the time I arrived at the ER, David was already there. His face was pale, his eyes blazing with fury. "She could have killed our daughter," he said through gritted teeth, his voice trembling. All because she couldn't stand losing control. Lily, thank God, recovered quickly. But this time, the damage wasn't something Eleanor could charm or manipulate her way out of. Security footage from the school captured her delivering the cookies. The toxicology report confirmed what was in them. There was no escape this time. "I want to press charges," I told David that night as we sat by Lily's hospital bed, watching her sleep. My voice was steady, resolute. "She needs to face real consequences for what she's done." The fallout was immediate and brutal. Half the family supported us, finally seeing Eleanor for who she really was. The other half insisted we were overreacting. She just wanted to spend time with her granddaughter, they argued, ignoring the fact that her cookies nearly cost Lily her life. But the police didn't see it their way. Neither did the judge. Eleanor's composure shattered during her arraignment. "She stole my son," she screamed, her voice echoing in the courtroom. "That nurse seduced him and tore him away from the life he deserved. I was protecting my family." The judge's gavel slammed down with finality. "Mrs. Peterson," he said coldly, "you deliberately poisoned a child. There will be a full psychiatric evaluation before sentencing." The evaluation revealed what we'd suspected all along. Eleanor wasn't confused, and she wasn't sick. She was fully aware of what she'd done. She simply couldn't tolerate losing control. Her sentence was 5 years of probation and mandatory psychiatric treatment. We also secured a restraining order, ensuring she could never come near us or Lily again. David hasn't spoken to her since the day in court. A few weeks ago, Marie showed up at our door with a letter Eleanor had written. "I'm sorry," it read. "I see now what I've done. Please let me be part of your lives again." David read it once before tearing it in half. "Actions have consequences, Mother," he said quietly, dropping the pieces into the trash. Lily's 10 now. Sometimes she asks about her grandmother, but those questions come less often. We've built a new life with people who love us unconditionally. Yesterday, I found Lily flipping through old family photos. "Mom," she said, looking up at me, "I'm glad you stood up to Grandma. You showed me that love shouldn't hurt." I pulled her close, holding back tears, grateful for the strength and wisdom in her young heart. The hardest battles often teach us the most important lessons. Eleanor still sends cards on birthdays and holidays, but we don't open them anymore. Some bridges, once burned, are better left that way. The family whispers have finally faded. Because in the end, truth has a way of silencing lies if you're brave enough to fight for it.